Hey everybody, welcome back to Bob's Mods. Today in the shop we're going to do a battery swap. We're going to go to lithium, which I've done a few different times on different carts. It's just the way to go. You got better performance, they're lighter, they're cheaper than buying the lead acid batteries for a cart. So let's look at the battery and then we're going to jump right into this. Let's get going. Alright, here's the battery I chose. It's one of those. Pronounce that however you want. What comes in the package? You have a battery, you have a strap, you have the charger, you have quick disconnects. It has a cool little display. So of course the batteries are under the seat. This was all customized. Everything was lowered to get the seat down a little more comfortable for the grandkids to drive. So we'll take the seat off and start yanking out those heavy dang batteries. Alright, we'll get started. Everything getting bolted down nice and firm. There all that is. Okay. By the way, one of these batteries weighs as much as that lithium battery, like 68 pounds. We'll take these straight to the recycle. They give you a lot more money. We have a 13 by 22. So what I do now is I put a piece of treated plywood, bolt it down. In the end, the charger will sit in here somewhere and then go out, and then it's just a regular household plug that plugs into it. I'll have to figure this out here. Typically in a cart that hasn't been modified, this is huge, so everything fits onto the board. Yeah. Alrighty. While you were gone, I did a little rust covering. Got the wire brush, got what I could with the wire brush, wiped it down, painted it, cut the piece of wood. We have the plate here that we'll weld on for the charger. We'll bolt that down and then we can start our installation. Okay. We got our brackets in, we got the plate in. This here will fit on here nice and easy now. Put some screws in that. Okay, now we're going to do the wedge factor. So I'll make some marks on this, where this is here. Okay. Now we'll come up with some wedges that'll hold that in. Should not be too difficult. All right, I came up with some aluminum angle iron, some self-tappers, and we'll get those in. There you go. She ain't gonna fall out. Now they give you a tie down for it. They give you plenty of tie down with it. So with this metal here, I like to put some kind of rubber piece down. We'll go offset a little bit. We don't go through our screws. Everything is mounted. There's a couple things if you're doing it this way. One is you need a converter. This is a 36 volt cart. It's an old cart. So I need a 36 to 12 volt to run my lights and whatnot. So you have to install a converter. The converter is just going to wire on to the 36 volts, and then all your 12 volts will come off the converter. The other thing I need is to replace my plug-in. So I'll have a plug-in here that's a household plug. And that's on its way. It should be here this afternoon. So we'll get rid of all of this. We'll just have a household plug. The charger's inside. Nothing laying on the ground. Let's start wiring. Let me walk you through some of this wiring. So here's converter wires. We're going to take all this apart. These go to my dash, and then from dash, I have a fuse box. So that's good. These go to the winch that I'm going to have to tie into here. They used to just go to 2 different batteries. So that's a fix. This here is the old charging plug. I'll remove it. I forget what this wire does. I will remember here shortly. This is going to be the negative to the motor and the positive to the motor. This here is going to be the plug that ties the charger in. And then from there, this will come across to the new plug. I'll splice in the new plug. I'll cut that off, splice that in, so that'll be like that. Roger? Roger. What I'm hoping on is this hole is only 2 5/8, so my new plate covers that. That looks like 3 inches. It is 3 inches, darn it. All right, I'm gonna get the wiring. All right, we know where all the wires go. That one that I said I didn't know, that was a 36 volt into this control box that goes into that control box. And then I like to kind of do it like a shrink wrap. Heat up that glue a little bit in there, get it to form fit on there. Don't have to get much. You start zip tying everything down. I like that. Oh, we got it. We got a straggler here. We have a straggler. I like that. Getting closer. Not that I completely forgot, but I need to put in the power monitor. Go like that there. So what I did is I had a little switch that used to run my voltmeter, my old voltmeter. So I pulled it out. Didn't have a grommet, so I used this electrical connection there. That worked. Now let's plug this in. We go about right there. Okay, this is in. I ran the wires down and around and up. They came up inside. They came to here. Once I get my plug for the charger, I'll get all this secure. Ran across. And then it plugged in right down in there. So it plugs in on the side. And that's that. We are done. So let's look at some power. 100%, 98%. Now you got all that. That's important. And that's something. So like I say, we're just waiting on the plug to come. And then I'll build a plate for this, get that mounted, and this will be 100% done. All right, that's going to be our cover. Now that it's sitting there, I can measure off from the inside and try to get in that existing hole as much as I can. Guys, I want to show you my rivet of choice. It's a split rivet. So you can see little splits, probably not. You can take a piece of steel with a hole that's way too big. You can see that. So see how that just moves around, too big of a hole. But with a split rivet, there you go. There you go. Use the split rivets. You'll find them in my link. Well, now that we've kind of learned what a split rivet does, let's rivet this together. I marked up so I wouldn't forget my hole alignment. All right, we're waiting on the plug. Well, the part showed up. We're ready to do our thing. Here's the power cord. We have some play in there. We'll wire everything up out here. So, let me show you the part. So here it is. Nice little 110 hookup. Comes with a boot. So I want to see where that boot and those wires are going to go. So those wires would be sticking out. So I want to come in here, take off about 3/4 of an inch of each one of those. That'll be in the description, so go check that out. And before we forget, we're putting the boot on. Putting the boot on. So, in electricity, we always start with the ground when we connect, and you end with the ground when you disconnect. Remember that. Now, nothing's hot here, of course, or nothing's going to shock me, but that's just a good rule of thumb. Extra torque. Then you go to your neutral. Common, neutral. Now, Mr. Load. Hot. Whatever you like. Click. 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 Oh, you did good. I did good there. These are pretty nice. These are by Nylite. Now my little fit. See how I did? It's nice and tight. It's nice and tight. I got it tight. Let's put that in there. And go like that. Well, that's perfect. I did good. I don't have black rivets, so we're just going to put some aluminum ones on there. Some little shiny aluminum ones. Depending on this shiny little drill bit. Okay, we're holding off on that until we get the other corner so that I don't get it too cattywampus there. There you go. Put the boot on. We are done with the electrical. One last look all of the wiring. Guys, if you're going to do this, make sure everything's kind of just secure. All your wires, get them nice and tight, have them so they're not bouncing around. Just making sure everything's secure is important when you're doing your wiring. All right, let's go look at it outside. Well, let's talk about the cart a little bit. Why do I have this? I knew I couldn't afford to do cars. So I decided, why not try buggies? So I just started tearing into this one. Took every part, every nut and bolt off of it. Just had a frame sitting on the ground. Like sheet metal work. So I decided, hey, let's build one. Got me a tube bender. Started bending tube. I had a rock crawler. So I just kind of wanted to make a little flat fender Jeep. I kind of made it for the kids. So if you can see, I lowered the whole seat down a couple inches. I brought all the pedals in. Put a tilt wheel on it. It's permanently tilt. So you know the seat's usually here and that steering wheel sits way up here and kids can't reach the pedal. So kind of brought all that in, put some seat belts on. Put a little bed on the back. Bead roller. Just utilizing what tools I had. Fenders were kind of fun to build. They were kind of a combination bend in all of them. Had to have some rock sliders on it. It's nothing special of a suspension. Little stinger with a winch on the front. Lights on the top, lights on the front, lights underneath, lights on the back. Yeah, just been a little project, just something fun to do. By no means am I an expert at any of it. This is not my trade, this is my hobby. There's a lot to pick apart on it. I definitely know that. But hey, I've had fun with it, and I'll continue to have fun with it. All right, let's test drive. Oh yeah, she does good. Well, I think that does it for this video. Remember, subscribe, like, share, check out the links. Thanks, guys. Enjoy.